What is up, everyone? Sean here, and today in this episode, I'd love to sit down and talk about Super Mario Odyssey, the most recent Mario game that has come out for Nintendo's new system, the Nintendo Switch. And really wanted to talk about this today in this style. I did wanted to just sit down and kind of just ad-lib it at this point, which means I won't be like reading it off of a script per se, but pretty much like I'm just gonna tell you guys like what comes out from my mind and just spit it out and stuff like that. So excuse me if I like go all over the place and stuff like that, and it's just gonna be a lot more of a conversation sort of style for this time. So I don't know, I just wanted to like kind of do it this way for Mario anyway, and let's get to it. So the things I did like about this this Mario game, it's just it definitely overwhelms a lot of the negative. Not a lot of negatives. I didn't mean to say it like that. It definitely overwhelms the negatives I have for this game. I don't know where to really start, but I guess graphics is such an obvious thing, I guess. So graphics is just so beautiful. It's Mario Odyssey is such a beautiful game to look at, especially something that's coming from the Nintendo Switch, which is like this tiny little console that you can hold in your hands. You can take it on the go, and especially if you compare it to the other consoles, seems like it would be like a little toy. But Mario Odyssey really shows off what these games can look like for the Switch, and I think it's all the more reason to get it on the Switch. It just really shows off what these games can look like, how stylized they can be, or just how beautiful they can come out. And Mario Odyssey definitely like is that tech demo to show off the graphical qualities of the Nintendo Switch anyway. Not graphical power, probably the wrong word to say, but definitely capability is another word for it. Graphical quality / capability is definitely being showed off in Mario Odyssey quite nicely. It's such a beautiful game. It's very colorful. Each world is just such a different look to it. I know one world you have a like a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of vibe with that Happy Kingdom. Next you have just this kingdom with just full of dinosaurs and stuff, or just a dinosaur at least. Yeah, it's got chain chomps and greens and the browns for the rocks and stuff like that. And also you have the forest, you have a water level, of course, which is really cool as well. And even like this very just odd looking colorful world that features like cooking and stuff like that. You'll know what I'm talking about once you get there, and so on and so forth. And especially with New Donk City, I think that's like my favorite world overall. It's New Donk City, surprisingly, even though it's just this New York looking city with real looking people in there in comparison to Mario anyway, which is such an odd thing that a lot of people were pointing out about when it first came out in the reveal trailers and stuff. And I just thought it was really cool to see Mario in such a different setting, and it's no different when once I first saw it myself. It's so cool. It's such a surprisingly vivid place still. The greens are like really bright, vivid. It definitely like shows off more, or just bounces off more from the metal, like gray or silver overall look with the city, like the urbanness to it. And it's just I don't know. It just somehow like makes the colors pop off more, especially with the taxis and all the other objects that you see in the game. And of course, Pauline is such a cool looking character, very sexy, obviously, beautiful, just likable, and she's got the voice. She definitely has a voice for the wonderful theme that we'll get to later. But Pauline was such a cool character to encounter, and just overall like that moment where you get to the cool part, let's just say, of New Donk City, like where you get to do the side-scrolling level as you hear Pauline's theme. it looks so cool. Like the lights and like it's just so alive at night, and I just loved every single minute of that moment. It just when I was streaming it, I just couldn't say anything during that whole or most of the um that level. I had no words for it because it's just so good. It's just hard to describe right away like what it felt like. I just felt chills and just pure goodness. Like it was such a cool moment that I just want to just stay quiet and let everything that I see from the game kind of just set into me. And I loved every moment of that part. It was just so cool, and that is why New Donk City is definitely my favorite kingdom out of all the kingdoms that you encounter in uh, in Mario Odyssey. And meanwhile, just like the overall designs of the enemies, the objects and stuff like that, the other worlds too, especially with the Sand Kingdom, it was really cool. That's all I gotta, that's like the word I would love to use the most because, like I said, like the colors, you know, the scheming and stuff like that definitely gives a distinct look for every single world or kingdom, and it's just well put together nicely. And like I said, like I gotta get back to the colors. It's just well made, and it's kind of hard to explain, kind of right away, but it's just put together together. The shades are picked right, let's just say, and they all kind of just it all mends together so well to make a great world for each single kingdom. And so that's why I like graphically it's just so cool to look at. You have to see it in person. You can't just watch videos of these let's plays or whatever, or streamers. It would be the best to look at these in person because you get to like kind of see from all these angles that you want, and get to like really appreciate the backgrounds, like the little things that you would see as you encounter things. It's just it feels each world feels so alive, and it's like it's really really cool to explore around these areas as you collect the power moons or the purple coins or whatever. It's such a wonderfully put together game in the graphical department, art wise too. It's such a vividly well put together game. It's just so much visual candy, or eye candy from this game, and just the graphics alone, I think it sells the game. But let's get to the other things that are wonderful in this game. The soundtrack, oh my god, it really complements the liveliness of each world. I think it's really cool, very appropriate. And I gotta say that Pauline's performance with that track or that theme, whatever, Jump Up Superstar, well put together. I think it's so cool. I love the old school big band jazz. It's very energetic. It's very just popping, alive. It really complements, the lively night, like atmosphere, and especially, like I said, like that moment as you get through that part of New Donk City at night with those high scrolling stuff. It just makes that all together the more better. I like over like you can also discover these songs once you come across these like little boom boxes throughout each kingdom, and it'll add to like the soundtrack list that you can listen to later on. And it's such a treat to like really listen to these individual tracks. So if Mario Odyssey comes out with a full soundtrack, you would bet yourself now I'm gonna get these soundtracks. Maybe not as soon as they come out, but whenever I get the chance, I would love to actually put down real money for these soundtracks. rather than just downloading them. Downloading them will just be like that. Will be like that temporary thing before I buy them. It's just is such a treat to have these ears listen to these sounds, to hear the music, the melody that each kingdom would offer. And even just like the regular theme for New Donk City, let's just say, is really cool too. It's got, just that nice, wonderful jazz. It's just adds more energy to these worlds for the other soundtracks, and it's when it comes to the art department, like, and I'm talking about like the visual stuff and music, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. No other way to put it. It's just so wonderful. It's such a treat, such an experience to not only play the game, but you get to see that this game is so beautiful, and the soundtrack so energetically appropriate for each kingdom. It just adds all the more energy, more liveliness to it. And I don't know, like even though let's just say Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, it is super open world-ish. It's such a vast like green field and stuff like that. There are moments where the game can look really beautiful. I feel like Mario just does that, at least a little better, in my opinion, because I don't know. It's just you have the opportunity to see different worlds, and they're all well drawn out or designed and stuff like that. On top of the level design itself, which I'll get to in a moment here. But yeah, soundtrack. I love the theme for Super Jump Superstar, or Jump Up Superstar, and even has a Japanese version to it. And even like the ending theme for it was surprisingly odd but very cool. It's just out of nowhere, but it's not a bad track. Definitely not a bad track at all, and I love it. I love every moment. I love how the game ended that way too. I don't know. It just complimented it somehow. So, graphics and music and the sounds, of course, absolutely wonderful. Absolutely, just hits it out of the ballpark for those departments. And of course, most importantly, I love the gameplay as well. The controls are pretty tight for the most part. It responds pretty well. It works just fine on the Pro controller. I haven't done it with the Joy-Cons at all, or even the doggy ears or whatever, dog face Joy-Con controller pad. I haven't done it on that, but I'm sure it works fine. There's actually motion control to it, but it's not too pushed forward as, let's just say, Mario Galaxy. It's an option. You can use it, and it does make some moves a little easier when it comes to motion controls. You can kind of just flick your wrist, and it'll do the 360 spin with the hat instantly, which is pretty handy at times. Instead of having to spin your stick and then hit the hat button or whatever. So it is handy for those parts, and gladly it's not the most foremost style of controls. So you have the classic control scheme in your hand, so you have no worries about the motion control. And for those who want motion control, it's definitely there. So you have the option of these control styles, and it's definitely there. And you can change around the buttons, which is pretty new for Nintendo games, but you have that option nonetheless. And I think it's wonderful. Such a great thing. And the jumping and stuff like that, it's for the most part works. It feels like an authentic Mario game. I love the level designs themselves, and really complements the fun aspects of each world. I think for the most part they were pretty fun. There were some parts I was getting frustrated, but that's probably my end of things. And for the most part, it like just flowed well, and it was just fun for each kingdom that I encountered, and I had a wonderful time with the actual game part of Mario Odyssey. The gameplay wonderful, the graphics beautiful, soundtrack energetic, really adds the energy to all these things that you would experience with Mario Odyssey. Another thing I must comment about is the camera mode, like the photography mode or whatever you want to call it. I love taking screenshots with Mario Odyssey. It's such a fun part. I was like stuck on it for like a good 20 minutes at least for each kingdom, at least during my streams, and I don't want to take too long, but I was still like kind of lost trying to take these pictures, and I would love to try to tweak them out day by day so you have like a Mario Odyssey picture of the day. And I think at this point, enough people have seen it, so I'll slowly release these pictures, and hopefully by then, not that many people will be spoiled on it. And but yeah, by the time I release those kind of pictures, but definitely I don't think I've taken the pictures for the super end part of the game, so you guys don't have any worries about that. I just want to show off the pictures I took, and yeah, there you go. So oh, and also Bowser's World is so awesome. It's so cool. Let's just say. I know, just leave it at that, because yeah, there are people out there that still want to get their hands on it once they get the Switch for Christmas or whatever. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Bowser's World is just such a treat, and out of nowhere and also, of course, another important thing, the bosses. Boss battles are so much fun. They are pretty unique for the most part. Each kind of like thing that you do that you beat the bosses with, pretty fun. They're all, like I said, unique, and not only the design aspect but how you beat them as well. And how you beat them is pretty cool too, especially if you're trying to figure things out. Fighting Bowser is also fun as well, but the boss fights all together were just, it only complements it. It's like a cherry on top kind of thing. Now, when it comes to the difficulty, which is like another part of Mario games, I thought it was fine. It has a very broad spectrum of difficulty. You can take it as however you want it to be. How hard the game can be is up to you, because there are so many power moons, and there are parts of these levels that you don't have to really get to, but you have the option to do so, to experience it, and also to earn yourself a power moon. You will get rewarded for it, and however you get there is up to you, really, because there are many ways than one to get that get to that point or that power moon, because there are some people out there that do all these crazy jumps, all the hat tricks and wall jumping and maneuvers and all that stuff. So you can take the easy route. There is an easy route, and also there is that more difficulty route. But when it comes to like the difficulty with the bosses, I think it's just the right amount. It's just fun. It's such a fun part of the game as well. Not just because it's difficult or the difficulty, but everything else about it, the design, the gimmicks of the boss, the music, the things around it, everything that's happening around the boss, absolutely great. It's such a fun part of the game, and the difficulty for the game is, I would say, well balanced. There's like I said, it's a broad spectrum of difficulties. You can take the easier route. You can buy your power moon. You can just take some power move just by throwing stuff into this little part or something. Wherever you are, you can choose to do those kind of power moons. But there are power moons that are harder to get, and that's where the harder difficulty comes in. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to do it that way. So it's really up to the player to make it difficult. I just like the fact that there is such, such like a branched off amounts of ways to complete the game or complete the kingdoms, if that makes sense. It's just branching routes, just many options they can take to complete each kingdom. So it's a lot of good things from Mario Odyssey. I love the gameplay. I love the music. I love the graphics for it, and there's just so many power moons. And I don't know if I'm gonna come around to, collect all these, but from the time that I've played, it's such a fun time, and doing the main story part is still worth the $60. You have to see this game with your own two eyes. You have to experience it with your two hands as you control the game, and of course, collecting the costumes is also another fun part too. Get to see Mario in different looks. You even get to see Dr. Mario at some point. If you have the Dr. Mario amiibo, and it's such a cool thing. A little bit on the missed opportunity side for the amiibos. Like, I felt like they should have done a little more with amiibos. More costumes or something. If there was like a Donkey Kong costume or like a Lucina costume, Cloud, Bayonetta, or something. Like, they should have. I felt like that would be so cool. That would be really cool. But maybe in the future, maybe. But wish they did something with the amiibos with that, a little more at least. But from what you have with the amiibos already, pretty cool. You get to get Dr. Mario, Waluigi's colors, Wario's colors, and so on and so forth. I think there's something for Diddy Kong, but I could be crazy. But nonetheless, you can buy these costumes with gold coins. You can buy the costumes with purple coins, and they're not too hard to get. You just gotta, keep at it, keep collecting, and your efforts will be paid off nicely. There is one costume that's pretty crazy, but you can get there, and it's possible. You just gotta persevere, be persistent, and these will be these are nice rewards to get, and they all look great for the most part. I love the pirate costume. There's even a samurai costume at some point. There's like I said, Dr. Mario. There's even, of course, the topless Mario, showing off the nipples and all, and like a beach costume, like a sailor costume, so on and so forth. You get the picture. There's all kinds of costumes to collect. They're really fun. You have the options for the hats as well. You can mix and match. All more fun with this Mario game. It's such a well put together Mario game, and you will love the post game stuff as well. Once you beat Bowser once and for all, it's such a treat to see. Let's just say it pays tribute to the Mario fans in one certain era of Mario, and it's my favorite. It's my first era for Mario. That's how I was introduced to Mario, with these, especially with the 3D Marios. So I played the 2D Mario later on, but it definitely pays fan service to the 3D Mario fans once you get to the end. And it's such a great treat. There's a lot of surprises in the game throughout, and man, there's a lot to explore for Mario. I don't know if I'm going to 100% this game. There's just a lot, and there's a lot of games for me to cover as well. But I'll love to come back to it someday, collect more Power Moons as much as I can. And the fact that you can take it on the go is just such a wonderful treat. I believe it works well with the screen. Looks really good, and 60 frames per second all around. It's it is such a great Mario game. And would I say it's the greatest Mario game? Well, for a 3D Mario game, absolutely. I think it's absolutely the best 3D Mario game out there, period. It is beautiful to look at. Soundtrack is great. The gameplay, for the most part, is tight. Tight controls and all. It's such a well put together Mario game. I keep saying well put together, but I can't emphasize on that word more, because this is how it is with Mario. It's such a great package that you get from that little cartridge. There's no DLC for it. There's no season pass so far. No nothing. What you get is in that game. That little tiny cartridge, or you buy digital, whatever. But you get so much from $60, seems like, and it's definitely worth it. I definitely highly recommend it. Anyone who's planning to get the Switch, this should be your first game, along with maybe Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, Mario Kart, whatever. But Mario Odyssey is a must to get on the Switch. It's a definite reason to get it on the Switch now. If not, before. If Breath of the Wild wasn't convincing enough for you. It put Nintendo and developers, the team, you will feel the love that they put into this game. There's so much love to go around. There's a lot of fan service that happens that you can, encounter. It's just so much fun. And I am so glad I was able to get this when it first came out. During the launch time or launch week or whatever. I had a great time. And you will definitely get every penny out of this game. Or every coin, I should say, out of this game. Like, there's just so much to do, and it's gonna be really cool to see for the speedrunners to do, like all the pro gamers, the competitive gamers that do these speedruns. Really cool to see the cap stuff, possessing people, right, to mention almost, possessing people, the whole hat trick stuff. Such a wonderful addition to this game. It's so fun. It's just fun to possess Bullet Bill, fun to possess the dinosaur, fun to possess any enemy that you can see. It's, of course, something new. Cappy is a wonderful addition, and hopefully he's around for the rest of the Mario games. I don't know. Or just, that Mario game. But the other spin-offs, I love to see Cappy. He's such a cute little guy from Mario, as his hat anyway. I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty much all I can say. I believe, but like I said, the good things will overwhelm probably any negative that you will see from this game or experience. My only negatives is that some of the levels are pretty short, in some parts. But because of how these levels look, the gameplay design, or the level of design, soundtrack and all, it still feels, like it complements the game. It still feels like a complete game, despite some of these short parts. It's just, I don't know. It's a welcoming thing, or welcoming level, I guess, for some of these kingdoms. But also I will say that some of the moves they try to do sometimes don't come out. It could be just me, but sometimes, when I try to do the hat jump, I just ground pound and sometimes die that way. And there are some parts with the wall jumping that could probably use some work, but other than that, the controls are for the most part tight. And yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. And I guess the only negative I have now is I just want to see more. I want more from this. I want more from Mario Odyssey. I want an opportunity to have more levels, more kingdoms, just more, maybe more new characters, more characters to return here or something. I want to see Donkey Kong. I want to see maybe Wario or something with these graphics. Pauline was a wonderful addition. And all the other characters that were introduced in each kingdom, or at least like the people anyway were really cool. I love the Snow Kingdom, like the really round looking like bear things, really cute. Of course, there were the Cappies, of course. Um, just everything about it just feels so alive. It's just it's such a treat to experience this whole thing as a whole, and yeah, I think yeah, that's from the beginning to the end. I loved it. I love every minute of Mario Odyssey, and like I said, it's the reason to get the Switch right now. I think now it is the time to get a Nintendo Switch, and any Nintendo fan will love this game, especially Mario fans. Mario fans will absolutely love this game. Any newcomers will love this game because of it's just um oh yeah, of course the story is pretty easy to follow. Of course, it's more or less Bowser kidnapping Princess Peach, and you go rescue her. Just this time around, he's wearing a like a wedding suit. She's wearing a wedding dress. It's a wedding that's happening, so that's like the only thing that's kind of new to the story. But it's I think the story is kind of like a secondary thing. The rest of it, that's what you gotta experience, and you will love your first run through of the quote unquote story run, and you'll definitely love the post game stuff, especially a certain kingdom that they'll show you once you finish the game. There is a true ending after you collect a certain amount of power moons. I have not gotten that point yet, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. But it just shows you that there is still much to do in post game. So it definitely it already definitely makes the $60 purchase worth it. So if anyone that's worrying about it, you definitely don't have to, because Mario Odyssey just has so much in this little package, this little game cartridge, that you're just gonna love it. I think it definitely deserves Nintendo Game of the Year, at least, for sure, over Breath of the Wild free. Absolutely. I had a much funner time. Not that Breath of the Wild was not a fun time. I definitely love the gameplay of it, but there are things that I strongly criticize on. And Mario here, it's such a simple but super effective game that there's nothing, or there's just really little to complain about, other than, well, there are some short parts, and maybe some of these power moons are too easy. Just kind of just give it out to you, but you have a lot of power moons to collect anyway, so there's just many more ways than one to complete the story route. So however you want to take it, it's there. These options are there, and plus really funny, the kind of I guess a joke, but there is normal mode, and then there's the assist mode, which a lot of people like to call it the game journalist mode, because of the stereotype that people like to slap on nowadays about game journalists not being good at games. So yeah, I don't know, it's just I thought it was funny, but the game also has like pretty neat options. You can save at any time. You have the soundtrack that you can listen to once you beat the game, and you have the snapshot mode, which is wonderfully fun. You will get lost doing so, and you can take these wonderfully beautiful pictures that really show off the graphical qualities of this game. So I think that's really all I have to say for Mario Odyssey. I had a great time. It's such a Nintendo experience that you'll love. I love the theme for it. I love the kingdoms for the most part. Like I said, my favorite new kingdom of all time for Mario Odyssey is New Donk City, or Metro Kingdom as it's officially called. But New Donk City is such a cool kingdom with such a wonderful moment thrown in there nicely. It's not, you know, it definitely it's not tacked on by any means. It's, like I said, well put together, just like the rest of the game, and it is the reason to get it on the Switch. I highly recommend it. And if I were to give it a score, man, oh man, I don't know. It's between a 9 or a 10, really. I had such a wonderful time. It's the best Mario game of all time for the 3D fans anyway. The 3D Marios, and that's where I grew up from, the 3D Marios. So I don't know. It was such a wonderfully put together game that I personally would like. I don't know. This could be really much, but you know, it's definitely a solid 9 out of 10 for sure. But 10. It's such a rare occasion for me. It's such a rare occasion. You'll definitely be engaged in that game, and yeah. You know what? I'm gonna stick with a 9 out of 10. There are little things that I want, you know, to be fixed, but it's definitely a strong recommendation for this Nintendo Switch. And like I said, I believe it's the best Mario 3D Mario game out there for sure, and I think it deserves Nintendo Game of the Year, absolutely. As a general Game of the Year, that's a bit of a stretch. There are plenty of cool games that deserve those titles, but Nintendo the Game of the Year, absolutely. This is definitely the Nintendo game for 2017. You know, like I said, it's, you know, there is a reason now to get this Nintendo Switch for the holidays. It is such a wonderfully fun, beautiful game, and it's a Mario experience that you'll never forget. It's definitely worth the $60. I'm going to be repeating myself, but that's just how much I love the game. So, that's pretty much it for Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. I know this is like a different kind of review you guys are kind of used to, but I really wanted to say it with the words that come to mind. So, kind of, I guess, give a little more of a genuine feel to it. So, it's such a great game. I just can't stop saying that, but it really is. It really is. It beats Breath of the Wild in such ways. I'll probably talk more about that in another video of why I chose Super Mario Odyssey over Breath of the Wild in terms of for like a Game of the Year kind of thing, Nintendo Game of the Year at least. Nonetheless, it's a great game. 9 out of 10. Highly recommend it. Go get it on a Nintendo Switch. Go get a Switch at that too. So there's only going to be more great games for Nintendo, from Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch, and it's just Mario Odyssey definitely helps me get more excited for the other games like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Metroid, and many much more. So, oh man, I love Mario Odyssey, and I hope you guys too. So, for those who did play Mario Odyssey, I want you to leave you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I love to read them, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for the channel if you haven't already. Helps out the channel as always, and highly appreciate it. So that's it. This has been my review on Super Mario Odyssey. Ad-libbed the hell out of it, but this is something I wanted to do for Mario Odyssey. It's such a special game to me that, you know, I just wanted to do it this way. I'll probably do that one more time for another game that is quite the polar opposite, but that'll be for another time, and hope you guys look forward to that. So, but for now, Mario Odyssey, such a great game. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.